You're listening to The Blind Chick, an Aftersight original podcast. We're telling you stories about strength, overcoming hurdles, and living experiences. We see who you really are. Blindness can be an adventure. Are you ready for the journey of a lifetime? We are.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Blind Chick. That's Moses Street.
And that's Penn Street, the blind chick.
Well, everybody...
That's how I say good morning to her every day.
He does. It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
It's like, good morning, the blind chick. Well, Moses and I, we have... actually spent a little bit of last week just doing some self-care, and we visited a couple of Colorado's natural hot springs, and oh my gosh, I had no idea how much I needed it. I did not know how kind of past that threshold of self-care that I had really pushed myself until the first hot springs that we visited it's actually called Hot Sulphur Springs, which is on the western slope of the Rocky Mountains here in Colorado. And I got a massage, which I hadn't had a massage in probably a year, and then went straight from the massage to the hot mineral springs that had a lot of, what was the mineral that was in that first one, Mose? Magnesium, right? Yeah, magnesium.
Magnesium and sulfur.
Yeah, and just like within 15 minutes of being in that hot water, I almost started weeping because I hadn't really realized how long it had been since I truly felt relaxed. And it was actually kind of scary to me. But it was a beautiful, beautiful getaway. Sitting in that beautiful hot water, underneath the fall colors of Colorado, mountains around us. It was just exactly what I needed. I needed it about 6 months ago, but I'm glad. I feel so much better and rejuvenated. What about you, Mose?
Yeah, I felt months younger.
Months?
Which was really nice. Younger. No, I'm kind of in shock that sitting in a mineral springs and all that is so refreshing because I do not know why. I have a lifelong dislike for being in water, and the hot springs are totally amazing. And the social life at the hot springs is really nice because everybody visits everybody because everybody gets relaxed.
I know. It's almost like
talk.
I know. And I have been to hot springs where everybody is, sharing, a joint. And that is not what these were this weekend. And I have nothing against that. No. Go for it. You be you. But it wasn't, it was just oh my gosh. I mean, I cannot express how much better. Yeah. I finally feel like me again. And it's been a long time coming. So.
And now we're on a quest to get to all 30 plus hot springs in Colorado.
Yes, it's going to be a rough job, but somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it.
We can do it.
Yeah. Don't get down, Penn. We can do it. Anyway, there's somebody here.
I know.
And
well,
we're ignoring her.
I know. Enough about us. Let's get started.
So, Tricia, what do you think about us?
I wish I went to the hot springs with you guys.
I know. And welcome to the Blind Chick.
Thank you. I know it'll be a totally chill because, your pores are opened, your your lungs are open. You've got incredible circulation. You guys are ready.
We are ready.
I know. We are cooking. So, but going along with that, as we established earlier, obviously, Penn and I are in Loveland, Colorado, not the ski area, the one 10 miles south of Fort Collins. But where are you calling from today?
Houston, Texas.
Whoa.
Did you survive
Nice and sunny
the
here
hurricane?
in Houston.
Yeah.
Well, no, our fence did not survive the hurricane, and our pool did not survive the hurricane tremendously. But hurricanes are unfortunately a fact of life in the Southeast. And I grew up in Colorado, so this is like a shock to me to this whole hurricane thing. And it's pretty scary.
Yeah,
I'm not loving the hurricane part of this.
Yeah, well, you guys have two seasons down there. You've got the hot season and the hurricane season.
That is so true. But we actually had the hot season and the hurricane season coinciding, right?
Oh,
so you actually have hot rain coming in the hurricane. Yeah. So it's a double wonderful thing.
Well, Tricia, what took you to Texas?
I went blind.
You went blind. That took you to Texas. That's a new one.
Yes.
That sounds like a country song.
Yeah.
It could be. I could work on that.
I moved to Texas because I'm blind.
And this is the funniest thing.
Okay, I've got to hear this story.
But I live in Houston, which, I grew up in Cherry Creek in Denver, which is beautiful. I mean, I grew up in Colorado, right? It's beautiful there. So I just, and then I lived in the Northeast, which is beautiful. And so I came to Houston, Texas, which is very hot, a lot of highways, a lot of strip centers. I'm not going to say there's not great food here. There's great food, great people, all sorts of great stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it is ugly. Yeah, I mean, if you grew up in Colorado, this is a shockerino, I have to say. So that is the one thing about Houston that I will call out.
Yeah, and your traffic is even worse than Colorado.
The traffic is, it's not even on the same level, honestly. Yeah. And there's and if you're in Denver, there's the RTD, which is, for me as a blind person, when I go home and visit, it's fantastic. I just get to the airport. I just know exactly what direction to walk, go down the escalator, get on the train, go downtown, and bam, I can go to the other trains, or I can take an Uber from there. And it's not like that here in terms of mobility in Houston.
And why did you move there again?
Yep. See, that's where we go to the I went blind thing, So I was in New York. We lived in New York area. We actually lived in a cute little quaint town right outside of the city. But I worked in the garment district at 39th and Broadway. So basically, center of the universe and in the garment center. And I, was happily pursuing my career in fashion and working with, I worked both with retailers and as a wholesaler. And I have retinitis pigmentosa, and that was diagnosed around the turn of the century. And that's a complete crapshoot. You don't really know what's going to happen with RP. And you just kind of hope that you outlive it, you outrun it, That was kind of my hope. And I didn't outlive it and outrun it. And about 6 years ago,
we're glad that you did not outlive it.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, okay.
I'm glad you're still here telling the story.
No. I just meant outlive it, like be 105 and still have, nominal webbing in my eyes. That's kind of what I meant. Yeah. I didn't mean anything, creepy or anything. But so I was diagnosed around the turn of the century, and actually at that time, and I'm in fashion and I'm dealing with color all the time. I'm a merchant. I'm working with design teams, traveling all over the world, going to shows, doing all this stuff. And at that time, I remember buying this really cool black coat. And about a month later, my husband said, that is such an interesting choice of coat. And I said, why? It's black. I've always wear black. He goes, it's deep forest green.
Ooh.
And so that was the first that I became aware that I couldn't distinguish. I started losing my ability at that time to distinguish between black, navy, forest green, burgundy, and brown.
Yeah.
And so then, as time went on, around 2010, I got a white cane, my first white cane. And I used that when I went, to theaters, or it got dark, or when I, got off the train on the way home. But in my work itself, I didn't need to use my white cane because it's so incredibly brightly lit in showrooms. It's just one of the things that just was a coincidence. But anyway, so I'm doing great. I'm flying all over the world, doing my job. And bam, suddenly I'm counting the steps from my office to the bathroom. Because there is a shadow. It's in the hallway. It's shadowy. And I realized, oh my God. And of course, my ophthalmologist, they were like doing a countdown. They're like, okay, 20 degree visual field. Okay, 17 degree. Okay, 15 degree. Okay, we're not going to measure now. We're stopping, we're not measuring. They stopped measuring, once I hit 15. Right. And, so simultaneous to that, so honestly, I'll tell you truthfully what I did at that time. I just worked 4 more hours every day.
Yeah.
Because, I loved what I did. And traveling to London, I did it every month, Shanghai every couple months. It sounds
so cool.
It was a great, great job. And these are places that I've been going to for a long time and I'm really familiar with. So getting on and off planes, being in airports, that is stuff I can do with visual memory,
Yeah.
And so I just started working for like an extra 4 hours a day to make up for what I couldn't see. Because, you also have to look at thousands of images a day, which I couldn't do, so, all in one sitting because of my limited vision and just the headaches and stuff. But at any rate, my company got sold to another company, and the other company, at the time, we bought what we thought was our second house in Houston, and the other company lost funding. And then in that weird time when I was in Houston for a month setting up what we thought was our second house, I came here and I was like, oh my God, I can't see anything because I had zero visual memory of Houston. Zero visual memory of this house. Zero. They didn't have buses and trains and sidewalks. So my normal every way that I had been accommodating myself for all this time, it was just wiped out. Wow. And then, bam, I was, on my white cane full time. At which point, not shockingly, nobody really wanted to talk to me anymore about being a chief merchandising officer in fashion and talking about design and fashion and trends and building businesses and all the other things that I did in my professional life. So that's how we ended up in Houston, Texas.
And I really appreciate you sharing about how you really don't realize how much vision loss you have until you go to an unfamiliar setting. Because I've been doing this a long time, but I'm still always shocked. And I think Moses is too, when I go to a completely new, he's like, holy cow, you really can't see. And I'm like,
because sometimes I'm like, yeah, I can see. And then I walk into a wall. Yeah.
I forget that Penn can't see, and we went because she rarely she doesn't use her cane around the house or anything, of course, but we went to a place. Oh, I forget which Mexican town. But she was just stumbling and tripping over everything. Right. And I said, what on earth is wrong with you?
And I don't drink, so I couldn't use that excuse.
Yeah. And she goes, I haven't memorized the town yet.
Exactly. Or just, and the streets are uneven, right?
Exactly.
So I'm kind of cautious every time I take a step, even with the white cane.
Yes,
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, yeah, their sidewalks are
Exactly.
definitely not ADA. So,
Right. Well, in Houston, there are no sidewalks. So
yeah.
So they
yeah.
just skip that. They don't need to be
It's-
ADA compliant. They
they
just
skip that whole.
it.
They don't have to be ADA because there are no sidewalks.
It's also living with Penn for 37 years. I am still learning how she uses her lack of sight on me, because I'll say, boy, look at this, and this, look at this. And she'll go, oh yeah, it is wonderful. and I'm sitting there believing her,
Oh my God.
Because I get tired
My
of
husband
saying,
will say in the car, look at that bird on top of that tree by that hospital. And I'm like, whoa.
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. That is, wow, unbelievable. So
Look, it
cool.
has wings.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or what was really funny is being a portrait photographer, and Penn would always help the women, get ready and do the hair and all that kind of stuff. And the women would always go, well, how does my hair look? And Penn would go, oh, it's perfect.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
So I know. It's, for me, always being a small business owner. Mm-hmm. And when the computer came out, it was kind of equivalent to going blind because it put all the good photographers out of business. And even today, when you run into a portrait photographer, they tend to have another job to make it. But so always having worked for myself, seeing the writing on the wall, I thought, holy cow, can I even work for other people? So I volunteered and even took a paying job to see if I could do it. And it just drives me insane because having been the boss, so your word is always brilliant, no matter how stupid. And then you go into these work situations and you're sitting there going, how are these people functioning? So my question would be, it's got to be wonderful working for yourself, or not?
That's interesting. No, that's a really interesting. On one hand, you make a lot more money when you work for $1 billion corporation.
Yes.
Okay, that's just
a little bit.
really legit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but the interesting part of that is that I think now I could not go back and work for a large company or work for a company, which is actually why I have not gotten outside funding. Because there is just, you don't realize, it's kind of like the vision thing. You don't realize how you accommodate yourself for all the politics and craziness and bad decisions that you have to deal with on a daily basis. Because even if you are the CEO or, CMO of a company, you're at the top of the food chain, right? There's still a board. There's never somebody that you don't answer to. And if you're in a public company, then you're going to be answering to those people who own stock and sometimes activist shareholders. And there's going to be stuff written about your company in the Wall Street Journal. You're going to talk to analysts. So from that standpoint, being able to make decisions about the direction of the company, how fast it grows. Right now we're doing the art for holiday, and there's a lot of spirited conversation about some angels I just drew. But it doesn't really matter because we're doing the angels, guys. I just want you to know, I own the company. I'm the blind one.
How can you argue about angels? I'm sorry.
Well, no, this is really interesting because, the interesting thing, for Christmas, we've always done really like trees and snowmen.
Sorry, you really got Moses on that one.
Okay.
Do you need a moment, Moses?
Yeah, I'm picturing angels with dark glasses and white canes.
Oh, that's hilarious. No,
I love it. I want one of those.
No, but we do have. We do have a Mr. Sun, and he's got Ray-Bans on, and he's holding a white cane across his chest. We need to probably get that from Moses for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
We call him the cool guy T-shirt.
That's
No,
right.
but the angels are actually made with circles for the heads. It's 3D tactile puff ink, right? So it's completely tactile, glow in the dark. So like, how cool is that?
Right.
Wow.
And then there are 3 angels. Each head is kind of a circular oblong. And then I drew little halos over each of their heads, slightly different. And then their bodies of all 3 of the angels are made with 6 white canes. And they're all different types of tips of the white canes and shapes of the white canes. Because I don't know about you, but I have more than one white cane.
Yes.
And then they have they each have different, shape of angel wings. And so Robert, my son's point of view was that we have always been very apolitical, or, just more like with our Christmas stuff has just been very fun, right?
Yeah.
There's been nothing associated with any angels or any stuff like that. And, this is really interesting because his point of view is this correct for the brand? And my point of view is that angels are kind of like my friend Dave Dang, who is Vietnamese. And like, they totally rock out Christmas. Like, they deck out their house. I'm like, dude, you're Buddhist. And he goes, it's America. It's Christmas. Come on. Everybody celebrates, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I might love Hanukkah, but man, there better be a gift under that tree for me.
Exactly, right? Exactly. You get and plus you get the double bonus, right, of both. And so, And so I said to Robert, my point of view about angels is that people use it in general conversation. They'll say, "Oh, that person is such an angel," or when I've been in wheelchairs, like after I had surgery on my knee, a torn meniscus a few years back.
Ouch.
They have to cart you through the airport. Right. And, I referred to them as angels. There's no way that you could pay anybody enough money to spend their whole day doing that unless they have a good kind of point of view, right? I just said colloquially, the term angel is used in many, many ways by many people.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like it's totally something that a lot of people really associate with in their life that's not necessarily just related to Christmas. But I think all year round what will happen is that we'll sell this shirt all year round because it's really cute and fun and clever and very, to me, reflective of our brand. So, but we do have spirited conversations, about that. Yeah, but I'm the CEO. And I don't have a board. So I love that part.
Well, and I love how you've done the ones that I've purchased from you are the mountains, like you do the mountains with the
the Colorado one.
Yeah. I love those. I want to back up just a little bit. How did you, like when you got to Texas and you realized, holy cow, I really can't see. There's no memory here of this place, and I really am going to have to use my skills. How long did it take you to build your company, Blind Girl Designs? And how did that kind of process happen with you? I mean, you obviously had the fashion background and you maybe used some of those connections, but how did that, I'm sure our audience is like, and I know I am, how did that happen? How did that transition happen?
Well, first of all, once I was in the living room and I realized, okay, there's everything analytically and empirically is indicating that I'm blind and that I really can't continue to do this job that I love. So, of course, my first thing was to fall on the floor and sob, right? Yeah. That's like my very first reaction. Go into shock, flip out, because I didn't say I was ready to go. I didn't have a vote in this. And so it took me a while to get my head wrapped around it, that I could not overcome that because I had been self-accommodating for years. I had made it really far. And I'm an optimist, so I was like, I can do this. My eyes were like, screw you. No, you can't. You're going to do something else.
I like to say, fake it till you make it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tricia, thank you so much for being on The Blind Chick today. And everybody, make sure you stay tuned for next week, because this is a two-parter. Having Tricia on the show was too good for one show. So make sure that you come back next week for part 2. And remember to be kind to yourselves this week and be kind to somebody else. It's good for your soul.